I've always said that for me, I am diet agnostic.
Yeah,
If the
I say the
literature,
same thing. Yeah.
yeah, if the literature told me to go and eat gravel or tarmac and it would let me live a long time, I would genuinely I would do it. I don't care. But one of the things which we've had on the show is we've had people come on and talk about, for instance, the carnivore diet. We've had
Uh-huh.
some people who have been pro, some people very against. We've had
Mhm.
a sort of mixed thing to it. When the literature points towards things like, as you say, eating a diversity of plants,
Mhm.
being a predictor of a healthy
Mhm.
microbiome. I would love
Mhm.
to sort of get your thoughts on, say, for instance, the carnivore diet, and obviously it's anecdotal, but I suppose people do comment on it, saying that they do feel better. Is that the diet
Mhm.
itself? Is that the elimination? I'd love to just get your thoughts on the carnivore diet.
Sure. So I tend to, just as a person, I'm diet agnostic as well. So we are similar that way. I tend to try not to go with extremes because in my clinical work, I find that when people omit an entire food group, unless they're allergic or they have, say, celiac disease and they cannot tolerate gluten, that's different.
Yeah.
But if there isn't a medical reason, they tend to not feel their best emotionally. And this, of course, is not 100%. Some people may be feeling better, and I'm not denying that. But I prefer that they use a balanced diet of different things. So, a balanced diet, there's a tremendous amount of evidence against. Um, uh, uh, let me put it to you this way. Every doctor or every influencer in the health space, author, whoever it might be, say they have an opinion of you need to have a vegan diet. There is enough science that can justify their position. There's also science that can justify a carnivore position. My feeling is that medicine is really moving towards a much more personalized space,
Mm.
and it's being practiced in some certainly in some places that way. And certainly as a nutritional psychiatrist, over the years I've done this, it has become more personalized because our gut microbiome is like a thumbprint. So the fact that a person feels better on a carnivore diet doesn't mean that the next person in my office that is going to work for them. For example, Joe, I early towards the fall of last year, I evaluated a mother, and she brought in her teenage daughter with her to the appointment. They wanted to sit in together, which is fine. And fortuitously, they shared that the very same healthy food, one ingredient, had a different effect on each of them.
Wow.
Biologically related, healthy food, one could eat it, one could not. So that speaks to the uniqueness of a microbiome. And I've seen this clinically in many, many ways. So my position on it is we have to pay attention to body intelligence. We have to pay attention to what the evidence shows. And I think that what the evidence has shown is that more and more often the Mediterranean diet has been associated, and it has meats and vegetables in it. It has healthy fats, it has olive oil, it has, beans, nuts, and seeds, legumes in it. All of that has been shown in larger clinical trials with an improvement of mood and depression, and it does not exclude animal products or seafood. So I think that that is a good middle ground for people. And then if they come to me and they say, I feel I need to be vegan, well, then we have to supplement vitamin B12 and make sure their primary care physician knows that they're embarking on this. We need to get some levels done so that they're not missing some nutrients. With someone who's carnivore, I would want them to eat some vegetables because guess what? That gut microbiome cannot be nurtured without fiber, and you can get fiber from vegetables, fruit, beans, nuts, seeds, healthy whole grains, lentils, legumes, that type of stuff. You cannot get it from just meat or seafood. So you've got to, every person has to have some balance of that, and perhaps that person might have less vegetables. But I would say, well, how are you going to nurture that gut microbiome? What are you going to do to make sure that your gut does well? That being said, I'm sure some people feel great on that diet. Just like some people have said to me, we don't have all of the evidence around fasting diets and fasting mimicking diets for mental health yet. But I've had patients come in and say, I feel I'm not hungry in the morning. So I have my first meal at 11 and I'm finding I have less brain fog. My concentration is better. Right now that's anecdotal based on my clinical work, but I'm not denying that it's not true because they're reporting how they're feeling about it. So I practice personalized medicine. I used a holistic, integrated, and functional approach. And I try to find a solution for the individual depending on what they eat. And, if they're eating something that I know is worsening their symptoms, I'm going to tell them. To me, that's key in my niche work. It's if you are cooking and, or eating processed vegetable oils all the time, and you're coming to me anxious, well, maybe we need to cut back on that fast food and start cooking with some avocado or olive oil at home. You don't need much of it, including avocados for healthy fat and that type of thing. So that's a transition in what they're doing. I come out much more strongly about that, not demonizing those ingredients as with artificial sweeteners, but saying, look, this is, if you're coming to me with these symptoms, maybe we start to cut back on those first.